Hey, late night with Linda again. So for all you night owls out there who are awake like me at 11:30 and scrolling through Facebook because you can't sleep or whatever other reason you may have, congratulations, you've landed on me. So tonight's nugget of day, I have no clue what day I'm on for my 24 days of lives. But I did the most amazing thing tonight. So the title of this was part of self-love is embodying your magic, right? Own your damn shit. And hi, Margie. Tonight, Patricia, who I do Soul Seekers with, her and Marissa did a goddess gathering. They did a new moon goddess gathering. And it was insane. Totally off the charts, amazing. We set the intention, they did healing, we channeled, they channeled, and I was there, not hosting it, not running it. I was strictly there, hi Monica, participating as a guest of the event. And so as we were going around the circle to the people who were there and they were sending them healing, I began to channel. And so I had my notebook, and it's something I know I can do, but I'm afraid of it. You know, it's a talent that I have really been apprehensive to step into. Number one, because I don't trust myself yet. And number two, because mostly I'm afraid of what people are going to say, you know, that woo-woo stuff that I'm so trying to really own my talents and gifts, but still concerned about the judgment of others. And so I had my notebook out and I started to, now the way I channel is different from what I've experienced channelers to do and be. And let me explain why. Like Marissa, for example, or people who have channeled me or who I've been a part of readings, when they channel, they will say, okay, so this person is here, you know, I've got your dad in the room, or I've got so-and-so in the room, I see a child, and here's the message they want me to tell you, here's what they want you to know. Mine doesn't work like that. And the way mine works is it's almost like a slideshow, like a collage. I just get like one image after the other. I'll get name, image, 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 name, color, color, image, and it's just rapid fire. And so there's no, it felt to me ridiculous as a gift. I was like, what is this? Because there's no message, right? I mean, for me, getting a list of objects didn't seem like a message of any kind. And so I was really hesitant to share it with people because I'm like, great, I see a red box, a blue baseball cap, you know, like what's the point of sharing that? So anyways, I did it a few months back and it was phenomenal and amazing. And I was actually able to, there's a name for it. I can't remember what it's called, but like I was able to describe the room that one of the women was sitting in, like astral, I don't know what it's called, but I described the entire room she was sitting in, including all the things in front or behind the phone that I couldn't see. So anyways, tonight I'm channeling and with no intentions of sharing it. And as we're going round robin around the circle, Patricia unmutes my mic in order to do a reading on me. And she's like, I don't know if I could do this. I know you so well. And I'm like, well, it's so funny because I've actually been taking notes and channeling people. And I just said it matter-of-factly. And so her and Marissa were like, well, share. Tell us what, we want to hear it. And the people on the call were like, yeah, we want to hear it. And I was so absolutely uncomfortable, nervous, terrified of all of it, the whole thing. Because I felt like I just felt like I wasn't owning it. I wasn't admitting to it. And so then I started with an apology. Like, okay, look guys, I don't know if this is really called channeling. I just see objects and names and it may not make sense to you. Like, obviously it may not make sense to them, but I heard myself just in such apology mode. And lucky for me, I was in a group of loving women. It was a small group. They were all holding space for each other. So there was very little in fact, there was no judgment. So I felt really secure. And I just started rapid fire saying what I saw. And it had a resonance and connection so deeply with the person that I aimed it, this is for you, and here's all the objects that are coming through and the names that are coming through. And it was incredible because even though I had this story in my head that there was no message, there was no message for me because the objects meant nothing to me, right? But they weren't for me. I was like a conduit in order to give people the objects that made an impact to them, that evoked a memory in them, that had a meaning for them. So they were emotional, they were thankful, they were connected. And once again, proving to myself that the beliefs and the stories in my head of what is real and not, of what is limiting and not, of what is good enough and not, are false beliefs. And when I put my guard down and said, this is going to be scary and uncomfortable and do it anyways, I was so stoked and excited because I did a good thing for people in the room and they connected to it and they felt it and it meant something to them. Now, the second part of me going up against my scary things for these lives is I was on the phone with my husband before this and I was like, should I tell this story? Because now coming on Facebook Live and telling this story is also me putting out into the world that, yes, I did. I wrote 3 vows, Lori, and I'm going to tell you what the 3 are. But I want to write a bunch more, but I was able to really deeply write 3 vows. But just to complete my thought, I wanted to tell you that admitting it on Facebook and saying, oh yeah, I channeled messages for people and, I know what that's going to sound like to a lot. I know who my friends are on here and some are going to love it. Some already know it. And some who I haven't seen in 20 years are going to be like, WTF is this girl doing these days? But they're gifts, right? So like, why would I ever deny myself an ability that is given to me because someone else doesn't resonate with it? Like, that's so ridiculous. And I hope that you ask yourself the same question. Like, what are you not doing? What are you called to do, inspired to do, really passionate about doing, that you stop yourself from doing it because you're more concerned about how other people are going to react to you doing that than what it would feel like if you stepped into doing something you wanted to do? Like, why would we even do that to ourselves? I'm not going to do something that I really want to do, that I really feel passionate about, that would really make me happy, because there's a chance that if I do, you might not like me or you might judge me. Like, what kind of insanity shit is that? And I'm going to stop it. So if you are listening to this and you're like, she's crazy, somewhere on your screen is a button that says unfriend, and I'm absolutely okay if you use it. If you love me no matter what and you accept me for all of my good and bad, then yay, please stay with me and go on this ride with me and share your stories of things you've done that have been scary and uncomfortable, but helped you evolve and grow, because that's the whole point. So that's my story, but I'm sure you have your own of something you did where you were like, this feels so scary, but I'm going to do it. And then you do it and you're like, yes, I just learned something about myself. Okay, Lori, I wrote one really badass vow last night, and it said, I don't have my journal in front of me, but it said, I vow to myself to not base my choices on right or wrong, but rather to base my choices on aligned or misaligned. So that was one of the vows I made to myself. that instead of looking at decisions that felt tough or challenging and saying, is this going to be right? Or am I going to do the wrong thing? I just was going to instead ask myself, how aligned does this feel to your heart, to your values, to your love? And does it or doesn't it? And use that as my gauge to make decisions. And then my a second vow I wrote to myself, and I'm paraphrasing because my journal's in the room where my kids are sleeping right now. But the second vow I made to myself was, I vow to give myself unconditional love and be gentle with the words that I use to express the love for myself. Because one of the things I'm working on is my self-dialogue. Like, I say shit in my head to myself that I wouldn't say to like an enemy, basically. I'm really much better. I'm so much better. And I catch myself now and I change it. But the fact that I still have to be aware of being kind to myself, because it doesn't always come naturally. So even though I'm much better at it, the fact that it still takes work to be nice to myself tells me that I still have a lot of work to do. Because I feel like being nice to yourself should be a default setting in our programming, right? Like, the fact that we have to remind ourselves to show kindness that we would show to a best friend is telling of the culture that we're raised in. So important, Lori. Exactly. So those are the two I remember off the top of my head. I was going to share them once I kind of had the whole list done, because I want to write 10. My goal is to write 10 vows to myself. So that's 2, but I'm going to come back on here when I wrote 3. I just remembered 2 and shared 2, but my goal is to write 10. So when I have the 10 completed, I'll come back on and share the whole list. And Lori, if you wrote vows to yourself and you feel compelled to share it, make a video and post it on my page, or comment it, or text me, or whatever. But I'd love to know if anybody else is writing vows to themselves. I'm obsessed with the concept. And so if you are doing that, please tell me you're doing that. And if you don't want to share it publicly, like I am, then text message me or Facebook Messenger me and say, hey, I wanted to show you this, but it's private, and it'll just be between you and me, you and I. So that's it. I wanted to say that, it's like singing or dancing, sometimes the things either we want to do or that we feel like we have a natural ability to do, but we're scared to do it because we don't know what people will say or what people will think. If they don't think that you're awesome, then they're not your people. Yes, this weekend, Lori, I'm going to finish okay, let's set a goal, you and I together. So, could we each write 10 goals by Sunday? Do you think that you could do that? That's a lot. You want to do 5? You want to write 5 goals by Sunday? You and me will make a promise to each other. Lori, tell me if you want to do that. Tell me 5 or 10 by Sunday. I'm calling you out. I see you there. So give me a number, Lori, and okay, 5. Yeah, I agree, because 10 is a lot. I'm already at 3. So you have some catching up to do. But anybody else who wants to do this challenge with Lori and I, we're going to write 5 vows to ourselves as a commitment to ourselves, as a marriage to ourselves. We're going to write 5 vows by Sunday. I know, I'm so calling you out, and I love it. I'm so excited. And when I call you out, I'm calling myself out, because otherwise I would take like 6 months to write 5 vows. So thank you for holding me accountable too. And Kim and whoever else is on here, Monica, Margie, 5 vows to ourselves by Sunday. Ladies, we can do this. If we had to write them for our fiancés, we would write them. So there's no bullshit stories of why we can't write them to ourselves. And by the way, these comments are delayed when you receive them. You wrote them like 13 minutes ago and I'm just now calling them out. Facebook has an issue, guys, because comments are delayed, numbers are moving. Either that or I just have no idea how to work Facebook. And I've asked for help and no one's offered. So this is the best I can do with Facebook Lives. And I'm so proud of myself that I'm coming on before midnight each day. Like, I'm really super impressed with Linda Barnett. So that's it. I got it all off my chest. I feel much better. And hopefully, like I said, you either love me or don't, or I've at least entertained you, which is still an honor. So I love you all so much. Believe it or not, I do. I thank you for taking the time to stop and listen and love. Frankly, if you had any emotion, good or bad, I'll take it, even if it's not great. I'm still happy to evoke an emotion inside of you. You love it. I know. I do. I talk in third person, right? That's all, folks. So I guess now what I can call myself a medium. Not ready for that yet. A channeler. I don't know. I'm working on that. We'll see. All right. Have an awesome Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't know if your weekend looks as mundane and boring as mine, but my kids and I are going to go on bike rides and we're going to eat and we're going to probably swim if the rain will give us a break. And that's my weekend. And I love you guys and I hope you have a great weekend. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Let me live vicariously through you and tell me how exciting your life is, because mine isn't, but we're all safe and sound and healthy and I'm grateful for that. And I'll take it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.